Thank you very much, David. Just before I want to do this again because we've got a new crowd in here today. David and Jen are responsible for making sure everything's running smoothly and safely within the cosplay hall. They managed to get an absolutely amazing group of exhibitors in here today. So I think we need to give them a round of applause because of the hard work that they've been doing to make sure we're enjoying it at the cosplay hall. So thank you very much. And for inviting me again, which is nice. Right, so I done a talk yesterday. Did anyone hear it yesterday? I had a beard, by the way, yesterday. No? Excellent. So I feel really sorry for the cosplay exhibitors that are going to hear exactly the same thing again. Okay? So like David said, my name is Evan. I run Ninja Trooper Creations. So I am a special effect makeup artist, and I'm a prop builder, and I make all sorts of things which are commission based. So I'll briefly tell you about how I got started, which was a really weird story. I used to be a photographer as a hobby. I was into nerdy things like Star Wars, Marvel, and bits and pieces like that. I went to an event in Kent called Sci-Fi by the Sea, and I was taking pictures. And some of the costumes there, they were absolutely fantastic, and I thought, do you know what? I'd like to do that myself. So the following year, I went back as a normal stormtrooper, and I got the bug, and I ended up going on from there. So from a stormtrooper I wore once, I turned it into this one there. So the reason it's called Ninja Trooper and I'm called Ninja Trooper is because that's how it started basically, that's what I got known for. So I love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I love Star Wars, so I combined them both together to become a Ninja Trooper. So I've been doing this for about 6 years now, so not long really, but 6 years. So in the time I was doing costumes and bits and pieces like that, I was working as a teacher. I've now stopped teaching and I'm running this full time, which is good. So I trained at Sean Harrison Academy. Sean Harrison, he's up in Liverpool and he's worked on various films like all 8 of the Harry Potter films. He's worked on World War Z, Captain America, so he's got a lot of film credits, so he was a guy that trained me. So what I'm going to do is just talk about different stages of costume making. I will go down to the other levels. If you've got a question, stick your hand up and I'll answer it, otherwise I'll forget at the end and you'll probably forget the question. Okay, so different kinds of costume making. Now there is all different kinds you can do. You can even do the high level costumes, what you see from Joker Squad, from Vader's Raiders to the Ghostbusters. I know not everybody likes to do that standard, so if you want to just, you know, change things from Halloween stores, Smithy stuff, Rubies, that's an absolutely good way to start. And all the costuming groups that are here today, they'll be more than happy to answer questions and help you on your cosplay journey. So a lot of the materials that I use is mainly silicone. So if you look at my Minotaur and my Stanley over on my stall over there, that's all made out of silicone. Now those masks are made just for me. Okay, so what I usually do first is, well, I done this when I shaved my beard last time. So this is what we call a life cast. Okay, so this is an exact copy of my head. The way we do this, the way you do that, you put like a goopy kind of silicone all on your face, wrap it in Mod Rock bandages, take it off, fill it with plaster of Paris, and you've got what we call a life cast. Okay, so that would take something like an hour to do a life cast. Then what we do after that, we put clay there. So there's 2 different types of clay we can use, but mainly what I use. We've got an oil-based clay, which doesn't dry out, which is called monster clay. The other clay that is a wet clay is called wet clay. Now, the reason it's called wet clay is after Walter Elias Disney, because they use it in all the Disney studios, and they made the clay in the sculpts that way. So once I've done a sculpt, I do a mould. So this mould is out of fiberglass, so it is incredibly strong and very, very flexible. Once I've made this, I will pour some silicone into the hole, and you'll end up getting a finished project like the Minotaur over there. So a lot of people have been asking me how long did it take me to make something like that. So I actually done that on my end piece when I was doing my course. It took me 3 weeks. So the whole course was 7 weeks, but the last project we done, I decided to make a minotaur. So I was working Monday to Friday, 10 till 5, so 3 weeks is what that minotaur will take. So it is quite a long process. Most things that I sculpt were something about 40, 50 hours to do a sculpt to make sure you get all the details and stuff like that. Okay, here's another one that I've done. If you look on my desk, there's pictures of zombies. So this again is my head in there. Okay, so when the zombie takes place, if you look in there very carefully, you'll see an imprint of the mask that I was wearing. Also with these, it's got a neck pin, so these are what we call like multi-level prosthetics. So if you watch the Orville or any of the other shows like that, rather than just putting on heads, they can keep the facial movements, you do 3 or 4 part prosthetics which are sat on there. So those that have seen Guardians of the Galaxy, Dave Bautista, that plays Drax the Destroyer, all of those different parts of his body are silicone prosthetics, and that takes the crew of about 3 or 4 people 8 hours to put them in it. Then he's got to do the filming and he's going to take it off. So when later on today, when I'm going to get David and Jan out their costumes, that's going to take them about another hour for me to get all the makeup off them. So good luck with that one. Right, I'll move on to the Wookiees now. So when I finished teaching, because I got fed up of it during lockdown, I decided to make Wookiees because I've made a few myself and people are asking me, so I do make Wookiees for people all over the world. So, this is part of one of my Wookiees in amber. Okay, so the hair on it is synthetic hair. Okay, so you can be, you know, professional use yak hair, but I don't know how many people have got the money to do yak hair. So all this is a pyjama pattern, slightly modified. Okay, so I'll just get a mesh fabric, I'll get a pyjama pattern, make the arms slightly longer, obviously the legs a little bit longer and a little bit wider because I do use stilts. As you can tell, I'm not like Ross Sandbridge, I'm not 6 or 7 foot tall, I'm only 6 foot, so I use 15-inch stilts to make me 7 foot 6. So yeah, it's just a pattern from a pair of pyjamas. So there is a couple of different ways that we can do this, or the main ways. So those that remember your mums and your nans and whatnot that done the latch hooking, with the little rugs and things, this is actually latched into the suit. So you take about 8 or 9 strands of hair and you individually latch them into your costume, okay, which does take, they reckon, about 600 hours to do a complete Wookiee costume. Okay, so it does take a long time. So that is the latching method for that suit. The head's pretty straightforward. Let's say that. So the heads take about 40 hours. So this is a Chewbacca that I made for myself. So again, underneath the skull is a fiberglass skull, so it's quite hard wearing. The skin underneath is silicone. So what you can do, you can stick some of the hair onto it, but the other thing is we punch it in. So I don't mean punch it in the face. You get a sewing needle, chop off the end where the loop would go through the cotton, and you just literally push it in every single bit of the hair to create that. Then you can style it with your best hairsprays. And I've got loads of them, as you can imagine. Right, so has anyone got any questions thus far on any of the moulding, any of the Wookiees or anything like that? I know nobody usually wants to shout them out, so you get quite a little bit embarrassed, but I will be by my table, so if you've got any questions you want to come over and ask, feel free. The other things for what cosplay is really made for is EVA foam. Okay? Now, EVA foam, there was loads. Are you guys wearing any EVA? No. Okay. So I had a couple of great examples here. So EVA foam is basically floor mats from Halfords. They're very good. Jan's got them. Oh, EVA foam, they're brilliant. Okay. So EVA foam is basically garage floor mats, but there are different companies that do it. But if you went into Halfords and got some garage floor mats, you can pretty much make any costume out of that, and it's a great material because you can sand it down with a Dremel. You can heat it up, bend it, manipulate it, paint it, and it's a really lightweight costume. There are loads of websites out there now that sell it. It's Polyprops, Tides. What was that one you used? You can't remember. Great help.
You put me on the spot.
Sorry. Yeah, so there's loads of different places. I had a question yesterday, how do you paint these things? You can either use acrylic paint, you can use, just as well, poster paint. Keep it as cheap as you like. You know, you can get spray cans from, I mean, a lot of the stuff I use, is he in here? No. One of the guys, he asked me to paint a gun for him to make it look. I just went down to Poundland and got a tin of spray paint and sprayed it with that. I did other things, I didn't rip it off, but yeah, a lot of things I get from Poundland. So you know, if you got cable ties, if you've got that gaffer tape, and if you've got EVA foam, you can make a costume. So any questions about anything like that? No, good, right. Right, one thing I will talk about is costuming groups. Now, I do a lot of events, guestings, Ninja Trooper Creations, but believe it or not, I'm actually a member of Joker Squad and of Vader's Raiders as well. So, the costuming groups, believe it or not, I was a little bit shy, still am. Just going around with a costuming group, you know, all the groups like Joker Squad, like Vader's Raiders, also the Ghostbusters as well, we raise money for charity. So we actually go around to different events, we don't get paid anything like that, we go around to events and raise money for our chosen charities. So we do it all over the country. I know Jason from Vader's Raiders, he lives in Suffolk, but he travels all over the place, so he's quite well known for travelling anywhere, and they never ever charge anything to turn up. Also, with some costume clubs, there are different grades of how you want to make your costume look. So those that have heard of the 501st, the UKG, they are the highest level of costuming in the world for Star Wars. They have got very, very high standards, but they have got you know, the right to do really, because they are run by Lucasfilm, a lot of them in Disney. So they got, you know, some people might not want to go that way, but other people do. At Joker Squad, we still have a level of clearance to make sure we look the part of the film. And Jason, which is brilliant, he's all about fun and Vader's Raiders, so as long as you've got a decent kit, you can turn up and have fun, okay? So if you want to join a costume group today, we have quite a few round numbers. We have Jokers, we have Vader's Raiders, we have Ghostbusters. So if you want to get into a costume, may it not be Star Wars or whatever, talk to those guys because they'll be happy to have you on board. So has anyone got any more questions? Excellent, great crowd. Right, thank you very much, and if you've got any questions, I'll be over by my stall for the next 10-15 minutes. Thank you very much.